or kick some rock all night.
While since I've been doing anything late, hopefully reset my live stream schedule to Sunday 8 p.m. Well, hopefully. But I thought, whilst I was watching through other people's videos, and bear with me, I do sound bunged up. It's still cold season, so a bit snotty. So I've been watching through a few videos, and I was like, should I do this? Should I get more hate on my channel to to my unpopular opinions on it's mine, not yours, mine, top 20, and this took forever to do because I've played so many PlayStation 1 games back in the day. It was difficult to put them into this specific order. Some I wasn't really happy with, but I've done it, and I've done my top 20 PS1 games list. I am working on my PS2 list, but I don't remember that many I played, but we'll see if we can get 10 at least. If we can get up to 20, that's even perfect. But yeah, I know with the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 3 is a lot less because I haven't played that many games on them consoles, and well, so many that came out that were pretty, enticing. And most of the time on my PlayStation 3, I was playing my PS1 games. So, anywho, let's dive into my top 20. Number 20. Okay, well, my number 20 would have to be a game I still haven't beaten, but I do like, and I do enjoy the series. And a lot of people are probably surprised right now to hear this, but my number 20 is Metal Gear Solid. Well, what can I say about Metal Gear Solid? Apart from it's a game that came off of the original Metal Gear from the old Super Nintendo or SNES, whatever. And it's an action game where you have to do a lot of sneaking around, a lot of sneaking. You can hide in boxes, you can, run around. It's all about stealth. And I was never really good at stealth, but I find myself playing this game, and I still do play it this day when I get a chance. And if I ever want to do it as a PlayStation 1 live stream, maybe. Though it was quite a hard game to play, I did enjoy it, and I have never beaten it. But, I did enjoy the game for what it was. And how could you not love it with a guy who can actually smoke or knock on a wall and then someone goes, who's that? And for the most
What was that noise? What was that noise?
And I love the whole, when you're running around, you get these, you have to press the lights for the speakers and then talk to a few people, the colonel and this woman that helps you save your data, which I've always loved in that. She was always like, "Oh, you can save your data." I'm like,
Snake, you have to crawl. There are only 18 hours left until their deadline. You've got to hurry.
Wow, you must be crazy to fly a hind in this kind of weather.
Who's that? Oh, sorry. I haven't introduced you to yet. This is Mei Ling. She was assigned to us as our visual and data processing specialist. She designed your codec, as well as your Soliton radar system. Contact her if you have any questions about either of them.
Nice to meet you, Snake. It's an honor to speak to a living legend like yourself. What's wrong?
Nothing. I just didn't expect a world-class designer of military technology to be so cute.
You're just flattering me.
No, I'm serious. Well, I know I won't be bored for the next 18 hours.
Come on. I can't believe I'm being hit on by the famous Solid Snake. But I'm surprised. You're very frank for a trained killer.
Looks like we both have a lot to learn about each other.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to learning about the man behind the legend. But first, let me explain about your solar
Hate. Well, more a love thing. I feel there's like flirtatious thing going on there. And I always loved that. Yeah, so my number 20 is Metal Gear Solid. If you hate me for that opinion, then at least it's on the list. It's purely because I enjoyed the gameplay and I enjoyed all the atmosphere and everything, but I just never beat it in my entire life. But it's not a game that I hate. Oh, I like it. I've just never beaten it. But if I ever do beat it, well, that'll probably ruin my experience of just keep trying and playing the same bits over and over again. I don't know. Just get on with the next one. I like it. If you don't like it, then no, you're not a real gamer. No, I'm joking. You just it's just stealthy games like that. Let me know if you think my number 20 was a bit. Ooh, okay. Why would Dan put that on there? He's a Resident Evil fan. Yeah, I could easily list off all the Resident Evils, but it's only one game per franchise, so I can't get away with that. So let's go on to our next one. Number 19. Okay, 19 is going to kick my ass, and a lot of people will be like, why wouldn't it be higher on your list? Why wouldn't it be not in the top 20? And, a lot of things went into my mind with this one. I liked the game, and I always I've always nicknamed it as Dan's Rage. That's Spyro 2, and yeah, a lot of people are probably going to go, oh my god, I thought you hate Spyro 2. Well, I had a little hate for it for a bit, but I got over that, and it was different, and I like Spyro 2 because it was more open world, and I enjoyed it. It's where it got everything set perfectly to what Spyro should be, and I beat it once. But I always liked it when it was called Rip 2's Rage. Well, it was Resdan's Rage because I was raging on it. Every time I did rage, I did get quite far through it. I got through quite a few of the hub worlds, and it was quite fun. The introduction of money bags pissed me off. The amount of money all the jewels you have to find to pay to get next things and all that. It's like, but it wouldn't be wrong not to put it on here. It's a game I played during my childhood and teen years that, a little joy from it and a little rage, but without it, it just, wow. It wouldn't make me a rager as I am now. I think it's the most game that made me rage the most. And apart from what's on this list anyway, this is one of the top 2 that used to make me rage a lot, but I enjoyed. So, yeah, shocked? I don't know. Are you? Ah, well, next one. Number 18. Not as much known about this one. I remember playing the demo, and I have played the full game itself, and I did have a physical copy at one point in time during my teen years when PlayStation 1 games were, not expensive as they are now. But not many people remember this game unless you've watched Cad Icarus. He's played this quite a few times. The second one was more funnier, but I only have more fond memories of the first game, which is Tombi. Now, Tombi, start off the cover art is like, okay, and they screwed up in America apparently. They made it different name. But yeah, you play this weird kid who jumps around on pigs. What's not to love? Yeah, I remember I had a load of fun memories with it. I don't remember beating it, to be honest, but I remember having the demo and getting the full game. I think I only had the demo of the second one. I never had the full game of the second one. Well, I did. Well, obviously when emulators came out and I got an emulator on my PC, I played the full game on an emulator, but I've never played it officially. I never had a physical copy, but I've seen it in shops. It's one of them. You see it on the shelf, it's like, do I want to pay 20 quid for it? Nah, I got an emulator. If I could afford it, probably. But if you're shocked with this one, or if you've never heard of it, then definitely go try it. It's a fun game. Bit iffy, but and if you're shocked it is on my top 20 list and it is this low down, then you don't know me very well. And if you've ever played this game yourself, then yeah, let me know what you think of it. On to the next one. Number 17. Hard choice because there was a few games I wanted to add here that were controversially good and I have beat, but I thought that this one makes more sense because there was only 2 on the PlayStation instead of 3. Originally, number 17 was going to be Grand Theft Auto 2, but I found Driver 2 a lot more fun, and it was the first one where you can actually step out the car and walk around in sort of a 3D environment-ish. And I found it a little more better. And then I discovered Driver 3 and yeah, it went downhill after that. But yeah, it's a bit controversial because I did like Grand Theft Auto, but them games were like top down, couldn't beat the Driver 2 itself, and I was going off of this one was what's the one that I most remember and that's graphically good, and it was Driver 2 because, you know, you're behind the character. And yeah, it'd be pretty obvious if I put Grand Theft Auto in this list. Even though they were all the same, all 3 of them on the PlayStation 1 were the same games, just, you know, different areas. It's just meh. Hello. Number 16. Alright, this one technically counts, but I only played the demo. I did have the full game at once. And it is very silly to say, and I don't think many people remember it, but if they do, I remember the fun we had with this. And who couldn't have this in their top 20? Papa the Rapper. What's there to say about Papa the Rapper? It's just fun. You know, pressing buttons, being taught by a teacher how to dance in rap formation. Up, down, down, you know, I can let the video explain it to you, but I would just like to show my stupid memories of it. It's a lot of fun, that's all I remember, and yeah, that's the only thing it had go for it was the funness. Plus it had a sequel. And then another thing that came out a bit later on, but not much else. I just remember this. It's this was kind of a game I just was like, if I got pissed off with Spyro, I'll go and play it. I'll just have a good laugh at it because it was stupid and funny, but good in a good way. Yay! Oh, shoot me now. Number 15. It is pretty much where we're getting into action again. A game that felt like, well, an action game, obviously, but it felt like if Resident Evil 4 was made on PS1 in a way. You probably haven't got a clue what I'm on about. C12 Final Revolution, a game I played a demo of, and I was so intrigued to get the full game, which I did quite later on in the lifestyle. And I found it quite interesting and different. A sort of sci-fi action-based game where you fight against robots and stuff, and not very Majesty found mine. It was really a good. I think it was my first third-person game I ever played, because Resident Evil fits camera angle on the PlayStation 1, and it felt like futuristic Resident Evil-ish, but third-person, and it was interesting on the development side. The graphics were good. Okay, you can see the draw distance weren't that great, and when you get closer, buildings would come in, but you're working on technology like PlayStation, it's not going to be 100% great. A game that I would love to see remastered, but probably never will. But C12 Final Revolution, really good game. Revolution? Why do I keep calling it Revolution? It's Resistance. Final Resistance. If you guys haven't played it yourself, I highly recommend it. Although it's on my 15th slot, but hey ho, it's a good game. I've remember some countless hours playing the demo, beating the demo, playing through the full game, and then getting to the point where this is the demo bit, and then all this new shit came into it. I was like, okay, so this is after the demo, and I'm not sure, but it got interesting. Number 14. Number 14 is a movie tie-in one. Well, so it's the next one, but a good movie, no wonder, that had a remake or something that was rubbish. And I'm talking about The Italian Job, a game based on, well, The Italian Job with Michael Caine. Not a lot of people know that. Really awesome game. Graphics were good. You would just be driving around in different cars throughout, playing out through the movie scenes and all that. And the fun thing I remember was actually doing the Italian Job, where you get the gold, you go through the busy streets of Carnage, and then I was like, oh, hopefully we can go across the river, and it ends up being a cutscene or in-game cutscene, and it's like, and then the whole stressful bit where you line up the minis to get onto the back of the vehicle, and then you're onto the bus on a stupid time limit to get to the end. I don't think I ever beat it, to be honest, but I remember getting that far to the bus, and it was like, oh, a nightmare, but so much fun playing it with me and GG Chris, and some fun memories of this game, and that's why it's number 14. It's got funness, but it was a pain to beat, and it was good. It was based off the movie, and we played it quite a lot. And what can I say about it? It's also on PC. Number 13. Technically a movie tie-in, but not based off the movie. But it's number 13, Star Wars Episode 1. Wait for it. The Jedi Power Battles. This one I loved well over the top of the Phantom Menace, but I did play the Phantom Menace a bit later on after it and found it was okay, but the Jedi Power Battles was where it was. Another rage type of game that used to piss me off, like Spyro, that it was basically unfair at certain points, and you would just, think, oh, the beginning bit's easy, you get a little bit further and you get to bloody Naboo, and that's when the shit hits the fan, and you lose all your lives and everything, and it's like, and yeah, I just can never remember beating that. Ever. And then we discovered Action Replay Disc back then, and to have all the levels open. And there was also a save thing. One of the demo discs that had to save the complete all levels unlocked. And boy, was Darth Maul a pain in the ass to beat. I mean, for all that hardness from Naboo and the Darth Maul fight, ugh, they were the hardest. It was supposed to progressively get harder. No, that was impossible, and then impossible that. Not even a word. But, you know, it was a lot of fun. You played different Jedis from Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon Jinn, Mace Windu, the best one to play because he has a special move where you flip his lightsaber over his head. And two other characters I wasn't really sure about who they were. Master Plo Koon, I think one of them was. He has an orange lightsaber, and there's a female one, if I remember rightly, or am I thinking of a different game? You'll see. Number 12. Added because I have played the full game now on emulator, but I remember playing the demo so much that I really wanted the full game, and it took me a long time to find the full game for emulator because most ROMs for emulators are American imports. Now in America it's called Shipwreck. What I had grown up as a kid as a demo was called Overboard. Now in the UK it was called Overboard, a game where you play a boat shooting other boats, going for different maps, and I always found it really fun and enjoyable, and I could not leave it off this list. It was that good. It's a lot of fun. I think if I remember right, if they had the full game there was multiplayer, but I just remember the demo so fondly that it was like, oh, I really want this game, I really want it, and it's like, never got it until I got emulators and played it on there, and I was like, I missed out on a good game, and it is a really good game. Bar none, a good game. Trust me. You know, with watching all the screen footage of gameplay that I captured, as well as if you have any memories of it, you'll know about it. Oops. Number 11. That's a fine line now. We're on number 11 before we hit the big 10 and work our way down. I had to add in this a Disney tie-in film, video game, and one that is the most I'll still say the number one rated game I've ever played, to the point that the original case to this game is smashed completely, so it proves that it is the number one most rated game I've ever had in my collection, because it smashed the buggery of the original case, but the game still works. And that's Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue. I raged so much on this game to the point where I actually enjoyed it. And then I discovered, oh, if we get the emulator, I can try and, you know, see how far I can get. And I had gone back to play it on my old PlayStation as well, and found the more I raged and took it back as a laugh. So instead of angry rage, I discovered myself laughing rage, where I'm angry but I'm laughing at it, and I managed to get quite far. You know, I mean, I only beat it on the emulator once, but on the PlayStation itself, on the original PlayStation, I only got as far as, I think it was the alleyway boss, and there's a glitch on my original PlayStation version because I think my disc is damaged after being smashed around the whole house and everything of all these years. But for some reason, when you beat it, it just freezes, doesn't go any further. Buzz just flies off and it just freezes. So I think after that point, my game just doesn't load. But I have beaten it on my, the emulator. So, but I just remember that boss being such a pain, could never beat it. And then when I finally worked it around and beat it, yeah, a lot of fun after that, and playing through all the stages now, and the kite boss and everything. Nothing is like, nothing was just so much worth that rage. But once you've got through it, it's like, yeah, this game gets a lot more fun, and all the pickups you can get is like, yeah, worth the rage. Ah. Number 10. 10 was a game that I played originally, and it was the first one of the whole series I played, even though there's quite a load of them. But the one I really enjoyed out of it, because I played it a lot, and I had the special edition at one point. And probably a lot of people are going to be confused, or probably think, yeah, pretty obvious. And I know one person will be like, why isn't the other game on there? It's because I like this one more, and I played this one a lot more. Looking back at playtimes on the emulator, as well as remembering this game, and when I first played it, I played it a lot more than the other game. This was controversially difficult to do. This was going to be Soul Calibur. Sorry, not Soul Calibur. Soul Blade, the original one. But I like that for a different reason. But I like Tekken 3 more. So Tekken 3 takes the slot at number 10. Purely because the great story, the great graphics, the amount of fun I had in it. The only one I had is the special edition. With Soul Blade, it was more, I liked it, but I didn't play it as much as Tekken 3. I didn't have much of a pain that I did with Soul Blade as I did Tekken 3 that I did with Soul Blade. Soul Blade was really hard at some stages, sometimes very unforgivably tough and just cheap at sometimes. But Tekken 3 I played and just beat the game so much, it's like I kept going. I liked using it as a fighting game. And yeah, I'm sorry, Soul Blade. I like that game, but not as much as Tekken 3. And as again, one game per franchise. I know technically Soul Blade is separate to Tekken 3, but it's same fighting game, so it's a fighting game, so that's why Tekken 3 gets it. Number 9. A lot of people probably going to be like, why have you put this at number 9? You hated this game as a kid, or you didn't get very far. Yeah, but it's a good game. I enjoy it. It has its moments. It's a game that even though I know I'm never going to beat, it's unfair at times, but it has that sort of uniqueness where it's like, it draws you back in to keep playing it, to see if you still got it, or just want to just get a little bit further in it. And I'm talking about Oddworld Abe Odyssey. A game that's just, it's good. Unfair at times, and some of the bosses are just, I don't even know if you call them bosses. Some of the enemies are just one hit kill. But apart from that, you get the funness where you can actually get Abe to fart, and you can get to go hello, and you can take control of the other enemies if you can, save your friends, and I just love the atmosphere of the game as well. It was just so platformy and dark and something more sinister, and the whole transition from getting game cutscenes to the game is just so flawless that you think, oh yeah, I got a bit of time, have a drink. Oh shit, the game started. You're gone, you're away, and I just remember, yeah, okay, I died a lot in it, but I remember the fun things. You can't get pissed off with it. That's the whole problem with it. It's not one of them raised games where it's like, oh for fuck's sake, will you get across this fucking gap? No, it was just more, oh, not that rock again. Oh, not that asshole again. No! It was just more fun. And since then, I started to learn to laugh at rage compared to, and use that to transition to Toy Story 2 and some other games that I do rage at. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Number 8. Well, we know 8 rhymes with masturbate. And I know a lot of kids at this time who played this game probably did. And yes, there is a. Well, there was an article with this character nude, and a lot of people get off of pixelated nudes. And this is probably the first time you ever saw pixelated nude, unless you had some dirty DOS games. And a lot of people are probably going to be like, okay, I didn't think you liked it, but this was the only one out of the whole franchise I did enjoy and I played often. That was like a separate breakaway from horror and fighting, and I couldn't be bothered with Indiana Jones. So, Tomb Raider 2. One of the favourite Tomb Raider games I ever played, one of the first I ever played, or one of the first I really wouldn't stop playing. The first I had as a demo. I had 2 demos of, actually. I had the one where you start in, I think, Venice, which is level 2 in the full game. I can't remember. You get to drive a boat in it. That's all I remember. And then there was another one called Golden Mask, which you're in a snowy area, which I have got that as well, which is cool. Which they actually did release for PS1 as well, for some reason. But this was my first game I ever played on PlayStation that also transitioned to PC, and I found it better to play on PlayStation, to be honest. I don't know why. Unlike the game that was supposed to be here, Broken Sword 2, I couldn't really put that there because I never really played it on PlayStation at the start of its heyday. I remember playing all the Broken Swords from 1 and 2 on the original PC. The third one was the first one I played on console, to be honest. I have played Broken Sword 2 on PlayStation 1, but I prefer PC, because it's this point and click. You say mouse, it's computer. Broken Sword 3 was a little different from memory, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about PS1 games. So that's why Tomb Raider 2 gets a slot much quicker than Broken Sword, because I played that on PC first. With Tomb Raider 2, I played it on PlayStation first and then tried the demo on the PC. I preferred it on the PlayStation. Although when I do play Tomb Raider 2, it's normally on PC. But hey ho. But I love that game to death. I mean, I have played the other. How many is out now? I think I played them all now, apart from the Engage one, which is basically Tomb Raider 1. And out of all of them, Tomb Raider 2 is my favourite. I did play Last Revelations, whatever, which was my second one I played as a demo. Never played the third one until a bit later on. But yeah, and then I played them all. But I still like Tomb Raider 2. It's the best one out of them all. Even if the remakes and all that, Tomb Raider 2 is the best. Number 7. Number 7 is pretty obvious that if you know that I'm a wrestling fan, which some do, would know that there will be a wrestling game listed on this top 20, but we expect it to be number 7 or a bit more. It wouldn't be my number 1, definitely not. Everybody knows me too well that a wrestling game wouldn't be number 1, and I think everybody knows what my number 1 is. And if you're shocked, let me know in the comment section below, because you really think, you really need to start checking out my content. But yeah, number 7, WWF SmackDown 2. Know your role. One of the well, actually, I'm going to be fair to say this is not the first wrestling game I ever played. I played played WWF Warzone before this, pretty good, and I think that's my first introduction to wrestling games was WWF Warzone, and then I got SmackDown 1 and 2 where the graphics got a bit more better and it played a lot more to what I feel was, sensible for wrestling, because my God was Warzone hard. And then I got Attitude and that was just the same game. A little bit of differences, but SmackDown 2 was where it firstly kicked me in thinking, I can see this going somewhere. And look at it now, 2K22 and it's shit. 2K23? They got 2K23 out? Is it any better? Probably not. I don't know, there's so many glitches with these new games that you think, why? But I will say, the most glitchy game which they fixed, which if you can't get hold of the original, is WWF SmackDown Just Bring It. You get the WWF one, you can suplex your character through the ring whilst he's sitting on a chair, which they seem to have fixed in the WWE version. Don't know how, but they did, but yeah. Number 6. Alright, my number 6, which is probably a bit like, okay, why would it be there, Dan? But, I would. Because it's a good game. And that will be Crash Bash. Crash Bash was just the first Crash Bandicoot, second Crash Bandicoot game I've ever played. But it's the first one I really enjoyed. And a lot of people are like, well, it's not really good. It's not Crash Bandicoot. Okay, Crash Bandicoot's good, but I had more fun with Crash Bash, and I want to be different to some people that love Crash Bandicoot and decide to have Crash Bandicoot 2 as their number 1, or Crash Bandicoot itself as their number 1? No, on their top 10 list, or top 20 even. So I wanted to be different and have Crash Bash. I wanted to put a game out of the Crash Bandicoot series that I enjoyed and had a lot of fun with, and that was Crash Bash. Number 5. Well, pretty obvious number 5, because there's other games that are a bit more funner that I remember more of, but I couldn't put this too close down the bottom because there was 3 others that were much funner and a bit more exciting. Silent Hill, the one that was, really going to kick Capcom in the ass. It was the one to fight for, but sadly died. But, I remember playing this horrible game where you change with both worlds and just, the freakiness of it was just, beyond freaky. Number 4. Well, this one was just more because we had a lot of fun with this one, and me and Chris played it a lot. We had the demo, and I played the full game, and it's got to be on here. Roscoe McQueen, Firefighter Extreme. Well, what more can you say? You're playing a firefighter that's putting out fire and being attacked by robots. And I remember playing the demo, and because of the graphics, it looks like he's pissing off the fire. A lot of fun with this game. Number 3. Well, this one's a bit random and not many people know about it, but it's G Police 2 Weapons of Justice, where you just play as a helicopter flying around. It's, not much to say really, but I remember fun joys of flying around as a police helicopter and shooting a lot of other police helicopters. Number 2. This one is good, but I never played it growing up, and I wish I did because I missed out on a great series. And it was the one that was similar to Resident Evil, and it was just basically Resident Evil with dinosaurs, and that's Dino Crisis. I never really got to play it as a kid growing up because I was more into Resident Evil, and I never saw Dino Crisis out straight away. But now I've been playing it recently at my late age. Finally get one to work, and Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. It's Resident Evil, but dinosaurs. What can't you love? And I remember just playing it, and well, recently, and it's really good. And I missed out on it in my childhood. Number 1. Well, if you couldn't tell, and if you aren't a fan of my channel, and if you haven't been sticking around for a while and haven't really guessed what I'm all about, number 1 is not going to be a shocker. Number 1 is Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Now, unfortunately, I've only got the Japanese PlayStation 1 case, so I'll be showing that off. I mean, what's not to love? And besides, Resident Evil Biohazard 3 Last Escape has a better cover art. Because I'm a Resident Evil fan, obviously, I'm going to have Resident Evil's number 1. And Resident Evil 3 is one of the best Resident Evil games ever made, still to this day. It started off the whole concept of random generatedness. I can't say anything different than that. It was the only one that you can go back to and you play it and you have to rethink, because they could randomly generate another enemy, or they can move that enemy to be in a different place. You can also have different stories that branch off, and you can play over and over, and I can do this story that affects that story, and I can do this path. It was the only game at the time that you could do that, especially in Resident Evil fashion. And still to this day, Nemesis makes me jump because he's random, and I still don't remember him jumping out the press office. And I had that happen quite a few times after I played it when I was a kid. I never had that when I was young. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's out there, and it's like, ah! The randomness of this game, the good whole premise of keep replaying it, that's why it's number 1. And to this day, mods are being made for the PC version, which makes it a hell of a fun. Especially if you get hold of some Ketu mods. They're massively amazing mods that make the game more harder, more different, adding all the beta items. You can do what you want, and it's a lot of fun. What's your top 20? If you hate me after this video for putting my list, then that's your problem. If you like my list, great. What's your opinions? What's your top 20? If you have any, for PlayStation 1, that is. Next time I'll be doing PlayStation 2, and we'll see how we go. And if you didn't like this, I don't care. If you like this video, leave a like, subscribe, share to your friends on social media, and we'll catch you Game Rush fans in the next one. Dismissed.